My name is Sylvia, and I found Darius about 4 weeks ago, and I've been working with the AIDA method for just over 3 weeks. I worked mostly with Protocol 1, lying on my back, being still without moving, was something that I'd practiced before, mostly because my husband had a sleep issue and was a light sleeper, and I didn't want to wake him. Many nights I went to bed so tired that I was not able to stay awake to practice. So I tried in the afternoon and I was able to get deeper into the practice, and it lasted for about 2 hours. I fell asleep and woke up in sleep paralysis, but I panicked. I remember thinking, it's this headset that's paralyzing me and this music. And I tried to rip the headphones off, but I was paralyzed. And shortly the music stopped and I woke myself up. I was a little discouraged that I'd lost my opportunity to leave the body, but I was happy that I had obtained sleep paralysis. After the January webinar last night, when Darius told us he'd often tried all night to leave his body, I decided to do that. It was Saturday night and I had no plans in the morning. The webinar was from 6 to 9 p.m. my time, and I went to bed doing Protocol 1 at 9 p.m., probably for over 3 hours. I felt many different body sensations, often in one limb and then another, and I was watching and waiting for the sinking feeling or for sleep paralysis. I heard ringing in my ears and focused on that. Several times I thought I might be entering a state that, if it progressed, would enable me to leave my body, but it didn't happen. I was patient. I told myself to stick with it. I could do it. Then I found myself going for a walk. I realize now it must have been a dream. I was walking behind another couple, far enough behind that I didn't think they were aware of me. I remember thinking that I'd pace myself to keep my distance so I wouldn't bother them. Then I saw them turn a corner ahead, and somehow the road must have turned back on itself, and I found them walking towards me. I remember thinking, now they will see me. And at that instant, I started falling forward. I knew I would do a face plant in the pavement, and the couple would see me and help me up. But the falling lasted for more than a split second. It was as if time had stopped long enough for me to realize I was falling and that I was doing Protocol 1, and now was my chance to exit my body. I rolled hard to the right and found myself on all fours on the floor beside my bed. Even though it was dark, I saw everything in a green fluorescent color, and I knew I was out of my body. I tried to stand up, but I couldn't. I thought my bottom was under the bed, and my bed was close to the wall, and that's what was preventing me from standing up. So I crawled on the floor to the end of the bed, and then I was able to stand up. I glanced back at the bed, and I saw a lump in the bed, and I assumed it was me, and I knew to get out as soon as possible. So I walked right through the solid wooden door into the living room area. I could see outside, and I saw a glowing moon reflected on the ocean. I wasn't interested in venturing outside. My prime motivation was to see my son, who had transitioned almost 7 years ago. I asked that I be taken to him, and nothing happened. I commanded I see him, and nothing happened. Next, I thought I would go look in the mirror. I was excited that I was out of my body, but I didn't know quite what to do. So I went to look in the mirror. And when I looked in the mirror, I saw someone else, not me, but somebody who looked a little like me. I put my hand up to the right side of my face, and this was not reflected in the woman in the mirror. I put my left hand up to the left side of my face, and it was not reflected in the mirror. And I thought this was odd. So I went back to the living room. and I still wanted to see my son. So I conjured up the most commanding manner I could, and I commanded with authority to see my son. Then I saw shadows a few feet ahead of me, and a form taking shape. It was my son. He was beautiful. Darius says the optimal age on the other side is 30, and my son was 30 and 1 month when he transitioned suddenly. He smiled sheepishly at me, and he said to me telepathically that he should have come sooner. I kissed his cheek. He had the most amazingly soft cheek, just like I remembered. And bam, I was back in my body and awake. It was 3:57 a.m. and I was so excited, I didn't even think about going back to sleep.